Will, tell me something about Christian Dior.
Of course, he was born in 1905 on the Normandy coast. Dad was pretty wealthy. He made and sold fertiliser.
Fertiliser?
Who would have thought? He wanted Christian to be a diplomat, Christian wanted to work in the arts. Christian won the argument and his dad ended up funding an art gallery for him in Paris.
He got his own art gallery?
Yeah, but it went wrong after his dad went bust in the Great Depression. So he ended up doing sketches of fashion items for magazines. That's how he got into fashion, from doing sketches, a bit like Andy Warhol. He was just doing really well and he got into a studio where he was making dresses and the war happened.
How did the war change things?
Well, he served for a bit, but business was, of course, pretty slow. He ended up going back to Paris and making dresses for high-ranking Nazis' wives, while his sister was working for the French resistance.
So he designed stuff for the Nazis?
I don't think he had a lot of choice.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
So after the war, he was beginning to make a name for himself. In 1947, he launched his first runway show with that. The bar suit, which transformed fashion. Before then, everything was all about austerity. So he's using, in this new runway show, far more fabric than anybody thought you were allowed to use. And if you look around, you'll see every single subsequent designer who's worked for Dior has reinvented the bar suit. It's 1947 and the middle-aged Christian Dior has arrived and changes fashion forever in 3 ways, which Oriel Cullen, the curator of this show, is going to tell us about.
His new look in 1947, when he launched this collection, it really changed fashion and really crystallized the silhouette of a decade with a narrow waist and a long, full skirt. Dior was the first designer to go global, opening up concessions across the world in different department stores, really having his name known across the world. Very early on, he had celebrities who wore his clothes and were photographed. People like Ingrid Bergman, Ava Gardner, who all wore Dior clothes.
Right, so Will, what's your favourite dress?
Oh, Tobias, I thought you'd never ask. It's this one, over here. This is the dress he made for Princess Margaret in 1951 for her 21st birthday. It's made out of silk and straw, and as you might have seen it in The Crown, because it's the one where Cecil Beaton famously photographed her. That was 1951. By 1957, Dior died of a heart attack. So there's 10 years of his house, from start to finish, his global empire, and then it's all over.
So what happens next?
Well, they thought about closing the house, but he had this young 21-year-old assistant who they thought was quite good, so they gave him a go. His name was Yves Saint Laurent.